Good evening, all. On behalf of NISM, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all for today's webinar on understanding BRSR and BRSR's core essentials. Myself, Amir Sayed, working with NISM. Along with me, today we have a renowned speaker from the industry, Dr. Mohammad Miraj Inamdar, Assistant Professor at NISM. Before we begin, let me allow you to give a quick introduction about our speaker. Dr. Miraj Inamdar has been faculty members at NISM since 2015, where he specializes in teaching ESG integration, sustainability disclosure standards, data science, and sustainable finance. He has conducted several webinars on topics such as BRR, Business Responsibility Reporting, BRSR, which stands for Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting, GRI, and ESG integration. Before joining NISM, Mr. Inamdar held positions at Indian Institute of Capital Markets, the Institute of Cost Accountant of India chapter, and IIT Bombay. His education background includes a master's degree in commerce, an MBA with specialization in finance, and he holds a PhD in field of ESG integration from the University of Mumbai, with two Best Research Paper awards received at international conferences. Before we start, let me convey you the major areas or the topics which are going to cover today. BRSR, which majorly stands for Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting, and BRSR core essentials are the frameworks developed in India for businesses to disclose their sustainability and social responsibility performance. They are part of the broader push towards sustainable business practices mandated by regulatory authorities like SEBI. Today, we'll be having a glimpse or we will be having an overview of such frameworks. So let me quickly guide you. We'll be taking all the questions at the end of the webinar. So requesting all the participants to put their queries in Q&A board only. Our speaker will be happy to answer all your queries. So without taking any further time, I would like to hand over the webinar to our speaker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Amir. So good evening, all of you, and welcome to this webinar on understanding BRS and BRSR core. So for this year, we are starting this webinar series, which is covering whole of the sustainability, especially a corporate sustainability. We are trying to bring market leaders for that particular subject related to the BRSR or ESG rating, ESG mutual fund, sustainable finance, sustainable bond, green bonds, so that you will see in the future. So with this seminar, what is the agenda for this seminar? What is the agenda for this webinar? So we are seeing some introduction why the BRSR has been introduced. Then we will see the structure of BRSR and BRSR core. Then we will see a BRSR assurance and what does it mean, and from which companies it is applicable, and what are the terms and conditions for the assurance providers of the BRSR. We will see those who are trying to become employee in this area, and how to do the implementation process, those who are the first time adapter of the BRSR reporting. Then at the end, we will also see question and answer. So first, a disclaimer is that this is an educational purpose webinar we are conducting. And throughout the session, I might take name of few companies and referring companies and their reports. But it does not reflect an endorsement or opinion on the quality of performance of that company. So please keep in mind. All views or interpretation expressed herein are my personal opinion and do not constitute professional legal advice. And finally is the direction instruction issued in a provision of law, regulations, SEBI and exchange circular are referred to in this guideline are final for decision making in the matter. So with this disclaimer, let's start with the some basic about this BRSR. Why does the BRSR has been introduced? If you see World Economic Forum report 2023, 7 out of 10 risk is arising from the climate, and 2 out of 10 risks are related with the social aspects. If you're seeing the environmental and climate change are the means causing a unprecedented risk for the whole global system. If you see, if since the 19th century, so almost we have the global temperature has increased by 1.2 degrees Celsius, and lots of research has been proved this, that it is not a evolutionary process. It is because of the human activities. But we are very crucial point. If we surpass this 2 degrees Celsius, then it will be irrevocable damage can happen to the whole ecosystem. So because of this, the all over the world, the nations are coming together and they are pledging how to mitigate this risk. So one very concrete action has been done in 2015 by Paris, in terms of the Paris Agreement, where the more than 110 countries come together, and these leaders has pledged that they will try to reduce that carbon emission, GHG emission, and also try to limit the global warming as well. And other forum also, they have committed to this, and frequently they are meeting in various forums and pledging that the nation's activities should be toward the sustainable development. And center to this is the Sustainable Development Goals. So not only the climate, but the other aspect is also very important for this, social aspects and other aspects. So 17 areas has been carved out by UN in 2015, and which is called as a Sustainable Development Goal. And see, ESG is the way to achieve this Sustainable Development Goal. And because of the pledge of the nations, so now the countries incorporating, integrating the actions related to the sustainability in their policies, and this policy is also in terms of the regulation and circulars coming towards the companies. And because the companies also are the important stakeholder in a whole ecosystem with the large, vast resources where they can control or mitigate this kind of the repercussion for the sustainable development. Because of this, when the countries are pledging to be more sustainable, you are seeing a more regulation related to this area. So here, this is the principal responsible investment chart, where they're saying that for last 1 decade, there is an exponential rise in the mandatory regulation related to the ESG, related to the finance or disclosures or related to ratings. And this speed is also has increased in the last 4 5 years. You are seeing that the almost all the developed nation and developing nations, you are seeing some form or the others, they are coming out with the regulation related to the ESG in different forms. And even in a recent 2 years also, those who are uh, some policymaker were criticizing related to the climate change, and that they are also adopting it. And some of the countries, their disclosure is more towards the climate kind of the disclosure. Some countries' disclosure are very balanced related to ESG. So if you see particularly in Indian perspective, what is happening? So see the BRSR, and this is not just recent phenomenon, because we are discussing in for quite a long time. So in 2007, when government were talking about inclusive growth and emphasizing on the sustainable growth, and they have come out with a various initiative to propagate this sustainable development at that time. But more concrete thing were coming in 2009 related to the voluntary guideline on CSR. It was a just a guideline on the voluntary CSR. But in terms of the uh, uh, guideline from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. They have issued in 2011 in terms of the NVG guideline. It's just a descriptive that what how the business should conduct their business ethically, and how to attain the sustainability in their action to their action. So here in 2012, now SEBI has introduced the responsibility reporting for the top 100 companies. And this was a starting of the mandatory disclosure related to ESG. And then comes the 2013 Companies Act, which is mandating the CSR. So India is one of the country where, or I will say, only country where the mandatory CSR is there on certain number of the profitability if the companies are achieving. Then 2015 is a milestone year. Here you are finding the SDG Sustainable Development Goals has been introduced by the United Nations. Paris Agreement means most of the signatories from across the country, across the world, most of the nation has signed this Paris Agreement to reduce the climate warming. And also SEBI has increased the scope of the BRR, business responsibility reporting, from 100 companies earlier to the 500 top companies as per the market capitalization. In 2017, after this Paris Agreement, SDG, and various COP and G20 discussion, then the National Voluntary Guideline on Responsible Business Conduct, MC has issued this document where they have mentioned the 9 principles related to the ESG and the disclosure for the companies. And here the also comes the integrated reporting in 2017, which SEBI has asked top 500 companies on a voluntary basis, they should do the integrated reporting for the financial as well as the non-financial disclosures. So 2019, then the SEBI has increased the scope from 500 to 1,000 companies. And 2020 is a crucial year where this BRSR coming. So BRSR is more aligned with the international standards, you will see, and having a more quantitative disclosure as compared to the BRSR, which was more qualitative kind of the disclosures. And 2023 comes with the BRSR core. BRSR core is nothing but the BRSR, but it is the sub part of the BRSR, which is asking more disclosure related to that particular principle. And this BRSR core is going to under the scrutiny, means going under the assurance process. So that has been introduced, and the assurance means whatever they are disclosing in terms of the BRSR core, that has to be assured by the company that it is true, and all the processes has been followed. In addition to the SEBI market regulator, RBI also come out with one consulting paper, and they have also discussed climate disclosure specifically for their regulated entities, especially bank and other NBFC and other people. So with this, one thing I would like to emphasize here, see, this is a phase-wise manner. So this is not a sudden shock for the companies that they suddenly they are going to adopting the BRSR related thing. So earlier the CSR was there, the most of the company have their CSR department. Nowadays, if you are seeing that the most of the companies, their CSR department taking the responsibility of the BRSR and BRSR related activity. Some of the companies has established their standalone or separate department related to the ESG or sustainability reporting. In parallel to this, we are also have a very good evolution in our corporate governance regulations, starting with the CII to the recent one is the listing obligation disclosure requirement as per the recent Kotak committee, which is at par with the international standard for the corporate governance. With this introduction, so what exactly and why the mandatory disclosure is required. So see, earlier there are various companies who used to do reporting, but the problem is that comparing the two, sustainability reporting was difficult. If suppose some is following the different standards and other companies following different standards. So regulation, mandatory regulation is first, it is providing the investor for the standard disclosure. And second thing, when we are introducing assurance, so reducing the chances of greenwashing, means misleading disclosures can be curtailed through the assurance process also. So this is the SEBI circular in 2021. They have defined the objective of the BRSR, and they are saying there is a quantitative and standardized disclosure on ESG parameter, which enable comparability across the company, and to whom such disclosure will be helpful for the investor, not only investor, for the companies also, to better to improve their sustainability practices. This BRSR now is a part of the LODR, listing obligation and disclosure requirement. As so, this business responsibility and sustainability reporting, BRSR, now have the equal treatment like the financial statements and other as per the LODR. So any lapses of publishing the BRSR, mandatory BRSR, can face the penalty as per the LODR. So let's discuss about the business responsibility and sustainability reporting and its format. Before that, we need to understand what is the rule-based versus a principles-based regulated compliance. Those who are not very familiar about the compliance process. So here, see, rule-based means everything is defined, and all the uh, uh, factor has been defined in the regulation. For example, age of retiring age of the director, number of the directorship, that has been very much defined in the Companies Act 2013. And but the principle is the statement where you need to adhere to that statement, or you need to find out what is the objective of that principle, and your disclosure should attempt to that. So here, this is providing lots of innovation also. This is providing lots of flexibility also, and also it's provide you uh, to uh, to adhere more towards the principles. But when you're adopting the principle, one thing you must understand, that the principle should be followed as per the letter and spirit. Means what is the objective of that principle, and what is expected from that principle has to be understood and has to be applied. So the current BRSR is one section C is based on the principle, nine principle. And this ninth principle, detail about this ninth principle, you can find out in the National Guideline on Responsible Business Conduct. As we are talking about the MCA here, I would like to emphasize on that the MCA also, so this BRSR is for the listed companies only. If those who want to adopt, those who are the listed company and those who want to adopt voluntary, they can also adopt. But those who are not listed company, for MCA, they have come out with the light version of the BRSR, which is called the BRSR Light. So SMEs, company or small companies, they can also follow the sustainability practices by adhering to this BRSR Light principle, which is a voluntary basis, but that format is also available through this MCA portal. If you compare with the what earlier and now, so the current BRSR is very robust as compared to the international standard and frameworks. If you are seeing, and also compared to the earlier version of the BRSR, which is the BRR, Business Responsible Reporting, which is just had a 59 question, and most were the quantitative kind of the question. If you were trying to compare the two companies on the basis of one parameter, it was very difficult because of the quantitative kind of the nature. And it was not very much emphasized on the environmental disclosures. Only few emission kind of the resources used disclosure were there in a BRR, but not very extensive what you are seeing in a BRSR. And now this BRSR is also part of annual report, and through the MCA 21 portal in the form of the XBRL reporting, you need to also upload it to the MCA portal of this. So let's discuss more about the circular which has issued in May 10, 2021 related to the BRSR. So this BRSR circular you will find on the SEBI website. So this was the first circular. Here you are finding Annexure 1 and Annexure 2. So Annexure 1 was the format and Annexure 2 was the guidance note, a basic guidance notes related to the BRSR. But see here, in July 2023, another circular came, which is called the BRSR core, and which is also have a different format of the BRSR. So in this earlier circular, so this annexure format has been updated in the form of the another circular which is published in July 12. One more thing you should understand that what is the applicability for this BRSR. So they have said that the top 1,000 companies for the year 21-22, they have kept it for the voluntary disclosure, voluntary adoption for the companies. And for 22-23, they have, for financial year, they have mandated it. So those who are coming March 31st under the top 1,000 company as per the market capitalization, they will adhere to this BRSR reporting. Now question arises, if suppose in future, because the market capitalization is nothing but the share issue multiplied by the market price. Market price may fluctuate. So suppose some company are the bottom line, I mean, quartile 4 and last bottom 10%, and their share price is decreasing, and suppose they are coming out with not adhering to this top 1,000 companies, so what will happen? So SEBI has issued frequency these FAQs related to that. On exchanges, NSE, BSE, this FAQs is also available, and they are mentioning that once you are adhering to the BRSR circular, you should keep following the BRSR disclosures. And if the in some rare cases, if suppose you have a dual listing, BSE and NSE, one where if you are under the 1,000 companies and another if you are not following 1,000 companies, then also you should follow the BRSR reporting if any one exchange if you are adhering to that. So where you will find this top 1,000 companies market capitalization list. So NSE, BSE, these exchanges, they publish this list on their website. So you can see that website, the list of market capitalization 1,000 company. As per that, this will be applicable. And also this is the part of the LODR. And one more important thing in this circular has mentioned that if you are already adhering to some other standards, sustainability standard like GRI, SASB, TCFD, IRR, integrated reporting. So in that case, you can also continue to follow that standard, but condition is that when you need to publish a BRSR, but you need to give a cross reference of the each variable. So where in that GR or SASB reporting, it is available. So this is the revised circular in July 12, 2023, which is talking about the BRSR core. It is famously called BRSR core circular. So here you are having two two annexure 1, annexure 2. Annexure 1 is related to the BRSR core, which is a subset of the BRSR actually, 9 attributes they are discussing. Addition to the BRSR, what you are disclosing in a different ratio, which is going to be under the assurance process that has been discussed in Annexure 1. Annexure 2 is the updated revised format. So unless a new circular has not been issued by the SEBI, so this July 12, 2023 format has to be adopted. There are the certain changes between the earlier format 2021 and 2023. Means each section you will find 20% of the roughly 20% of the changes you will find in section A, section B, and section C. There are 30-40% of the changes here and there. You are going to find in this July 12, 2023. So whenever we are discussing a continuation, so I am referring to this July 12, 2023 circular. One more circular is also important here, the integrated reporting. So what is the integrated reporting? All the financial and non-financial disclosure you're disclosing in one report with interconnectivity also. Means if you have some uh, emission or some disaster or some penalty, so how it is impacting financially, which is called financial materiality. So that linkage, if you are making and publishing one document which is having all the disclosure related to ESG plus the financial disclosure, the balance sheet and P&L and cash flow statement, all the statement. And when you are making this one report, that is called integrated report. And SEBI has come out with 2017, and they were asking companies to voluntarily adopt this. That my personal opinion is that for the disclosure, this is acumen of the disclosure. Means if the company is adopting the integrated kind of the reporting, and there are certain companies you will find they are publishing this integrated reporting, and uh, if you're reading it, so you will find it very interesting how they are connecting the whole thing into a one report, and how the financial and non-financial is also interacting with each other. So BRSR core is related to the 9 attributes, which is also called a key performance indicator, different ratio, and they are asking them for the international comparability to convert this disclosure in terms ratios in terms of the purchasing power parity. Basically, purchasing power parity means you are comparing uh, internationally in one currency if you would like to report it, so how it would be. But this one thing you should careful about this. Purchasing power parity does not mean just converting into a dollar term, because that conversion factor you need to adopt not from the currency which is trading. The currency factor is generally issued by World Bank or IMFC. So we are also expecting that CB will give some guideline related to whether to adopt the World Bank conversion rate, or whether to adopt the IMF conversion rate in that. Next thing is very interesting, why this thing is becoming, the scope of the BRSR is in future is becoming very wide, because they are asking disclosure for the value chain. Those who are the providing raw material, or companies, those who are um, purchasing and also making sales. So those who are providing a value in that, I'm not talking about just the supply chain, but in addition to supply chain, people who are adding the value in that. So as per their turnover, those who are coming under 75 of the turnover, top 75, they all has to be report. Means company has to be report on the behalf of them also. So, but they have not asked to all the companies and their value chain to be come under to this. They have introduced it with the phase wise manner. So here the BRSR core, those who are going under the assurance, reasonable assurance also. See, there are the two kind of the assurance. See, assurance, loose sum of assurance is nothing but the doing the audit of this ESG data or BRSR data. A reasonable assurance means you are doing a very thorough examine, means how you are collecting, what is your processes, what is your authority, everything you are discussing, and then you are publishing it. So you are discussing this whole thing related to that. That is coming under this. Interpretability, which I was talking about, it is allowed that if you are already publishing the sustainability report under the different standard, because one of the oldest standard is GRI, Global Responsibility Initiative. So if you see that in India, there are the various companies for since long time they are publishing the GRI report. For example, Tata Motors since 2001, and you are seeing many companies, more than 50 companies are publishing under the GRI because they are publishing because the most of the company are doing the business with Europe, and as per their regulation, it was mandatory, and then they are publishing it. So, in addition to this GRI, there are the whole gamut you are finding here. So, those who are new to this ecosystem of sustainability reporting, you will find out that there are various name here. But good thing is happening for last 2-3 years is that a consolidation of this standards. So now you are seeing that SASB is consolidated with the IFRS, TCFD with the IFRS, CDSB with the IFRS. So you are finding the more mainly two kind of the standard here, the GRI and the IFRS, which has come out with the S1, S2 kind of the standards. And we have a BRSR framework. See, framework is a structure kind of the reporting. And here in India, this BRSR is applicable to the all the industry. It is not differentiating the industry, means manufacturing industry has to disclose something extra or service industry has to disclose something different. But BRSR is very uniform for the all the industry. But if you are seeing the SASB kind of the standard, they are the industry based. A different industry have different standard. GRI is a uniform like a BRSR, but I have a more extensive kind of the reporting they are mentioning. And you are seeing this, those who are doing assurance also, there is a various standard of the assurance. So instead of chartered accountants have also issued the assurance standards for those who are going to do assurance processing, that auditing process of that. And there are the international standards also, accountability, AA 1000 AS, and there are the ratings. So we are not going into the rating for this session. So BRSR have this interoperability between the different kind of the standards. So let's quickly discuss the BRSR structure. So there are the three section here: Section A, Section B, Section C. Section A is related to general disclosure. Section B is related to management and process disclosure, and Section C, which is majority part of the BRSR cover under this Section C, which is having a principle-wise performance disclosure from Principle 1 to Principle 9. And it is also having a two subset, which is the essential indicator, which is called a mandatory indicator, which company has to publish. Another one is a leadership indicators. Okay, so here they have not called it as a voluntary, you should not skip. But if the companies are feeling them, they are the leader, so they should disclose the leadership indicator also. So if we go directly to the section A, so this exact information means format I have captured from the SEBI format. So here you will find that is a general disclosure related to the company. But one thing is important here, uh, this is a common information what the company is publishing through the MCA portal. But the one thing is taking into account is a reporting boundary. The reporting boundary means what is the scope and application of this BRSR report. So as per the BRSR report, you can publish the report on the basis of standalone basis as well as the consolidated basis. But whatever you are adopting, you should continue adopt throughout the process. Um, but if you compare this reporting boundary with the GRI and SASB, they are asking about the reporting should be on the basis of consolidated basis, means all the subsidiaries has to be covered under that. Because if you see some of the companies like L&T, they have the subsidiaries, more than 100 subsidiaries they are having. So, if you are making a report of how much emission you are having, so you should also take account of the all the subsidy as well. But BRS are saying it is up to the company which what is the remote means what is the reporting boundaries they has to adopt. But one thing they have clarified that whatever you are adopting, you should be consistent in reporting boundaries. If you are adopting a standalone, you should continue with that. If you are having a consolidated basis, you should continue with that. But here, my personal advice is that those who have a business in different countries, so they should adopt with the consolidated basis if they have the subsidy and that, because it's a more you can make a more align your report with the GRI and IFRS S1 and S2. So, so this is about the reporting boundaries and assurance provider. So here in section A also they're asking about the assurance provider. So here, first of all, you understand this assurance process. Assurance, I'm saying a loose definition of assurance is the auditing. Uh, See, auditing is your already published data. The auditor are seeing and checking authenticity of the that transaction and that process they are following. Here, the reasonable assurance means the all the processes, internal check, how you are collecting your data, and that. So on this whole process, they are giving a comment whether it is as per the standard or what are the limitation in that processes of collecting of data for the BRSR there. So that has been provided. So who can be a assurance provider? So first of all, this is mm, uh, a timeline for the making a assurance for the companies you are seeing. So first, see the BRSR and BRSR core is mandated for that company as per the phase wise. But if you're seeing assurance process, so it is having a phase wise for the first of 150 companies, then 250 companies, 500, 1000 companies. But who can be assurance providers? See, assurance provider can be anybody. So those who have a professional knowledge related to that process. It is need not be a chartered accountant. Uh, they can be, but it's not that exclusiveness has been given to the chartered accountant here. So non-chartered accountant, because internationally, if you are seeing assurance, there is a one assurance board. If you go and see that the 40% of the assurance provider are the non compliance auditor, means they are not a chartered accountant. So here, what activity services by assurance provider can lead to conflict of interest? So it is similar to the statutory auditor kind of the condition here. You should not sell this product or offers any non-audit or non-assurance risk to the thing. So this FAQs are also provided by SEBI on their portal, and Exchange also has given this FAQs related to the assurance providing also. Uh, Next, so who can become associate, I think, and this is something important. So assurance provider for the means which standard has to be adopted. So here also SEBI has not mandated that you should adopt a certain standard. You can adopt either from the international standard on assurance engagement 3000 or adopt from the ICAI which they have issued in 303410 for the doing the assurance process. So let's discuss about the section B of the BRSR. So in section B, they are discussing about the management and process disclosure. So in here in section B of disclosure, they are asking about whether you have a policies related to principle 1 to principle 9. and rather that policy has been adopted by board of directors. In the formation of the policies, which certification you are adhering to, for example, ISO or a different kind of the certification for the policy making. And who is the owner of the policy means who is the authority of the policies, who will review that policy, what is the timeline for the review of the policies, and who will be responsible for the policy, and how is the mechanism for the feedback, taking feedback on the policies. Whether you are publishing that policy on the public portal, means especially a website of the company, are they accessible to the all the people? So this all related thing is mentioned in section B. And there are some leadership thing is also that who is the highest authority, who is implementing this BRSR, and who is giving oversight of the business responsibility thing, and whether you have any committee who is looking after for this BRSR and that. So everything is in section B has been mentioned. Now section C is the most important, because once this section A and section B is mostly a one-time activity for the company. But for the section C, it is very frequently you need to work on this kind of the principle. So here, if you see the first principle wise, so here, if you see the number of variables, how much data you need to disclose here, you'll find the BRSR core. There are the 14 variables are there related to this section C, and among this whole BRSR, 68 is essential, which has to be adopted. BRSR leadership is 39. If some companies doesn't have that kind of the disclosure by nature, so they can uh, fill the nil in that BRSR reporting, and also you can give a note to the BRSR report. So first is the principle is related to the integrity and the governance themselves with the integrity and in a manner that ethical, transparent, accountable. I mean, business should conduct and govern themselves with the integrity in a manner that is ethical, transparent, accountable. So here you are finding two BRSR core, and they are the 9 essential principle, and BRSR leadership, and total of 11. So what exactly in a principle one? It is related to the complaint related to whether any cases of bribery, corruption, conflict of interest by the director, what are the training programs, transfer, and other kind of the disclosure. So here, uh, so how much is the penalty and different settlement, and whether any compounding fees, or whether anybody from the company are having imprisonment or punished by that. So it is all coming under the how. So by this disclosure, you can have the idea that how they are conducting their business ethically or transparently. So they are the relevant GRI standard like GRI 102, which is giving a more guidelines related to this. GRI 205 is related to anti-corruption. SASB, which is nowadays is IFRS sustainability disclosures. So here also with the different industry, but this SASB TCTL 510A point one, it's more common for the all the companies that are related to this. So these are some leadership indicator here, total number of awareness program, rather how you are conducting for the people of your management. So principle 2 is related to business should provide goods and services in a manner that is sustainable and safe. So this is also one of the important principle here. So this is about the goods and services, and here they are asking about how much R&D and capex has been spent on the to make the product and service more sustainable and less harmful for the environment. So that you need to explain, and also those who are company which is coming under this extended EPR rule. Um, and also life cycle assessment of the company, phase wise, how the different emission of uh, the product manufacturing and how the emission is happening. So that you need to mention, need to define in this principle, and how much the resources you are using, whether it is recycle, reuse, or or dispose. That also you need to disclose in a principle two. Principle three is majorly related with the employees' welfare. This is also very detailed one. This all the what the HR is keeping the data with them, and how is the maternity benefit, paternity benefit, daycare facility, and uh, various measure related to the employee to be disclosed in this standards. So retirement and various facility for disabled people also has been given. Principle four is related to shareholder and shareholder engagement. With the first, the company has to map their shareholder, who are the important shareholder, whether it is a society, government, or the any agency or different bodies. So they need to define how they are frequently engaging with them and what they are doing with them. So this need to define in the principle four. Principle five is related to the human rights. This is also having variables or disclosure related to the minimum wages. And this is a very this variable is giving a very much insight, means gender-wise discrimination in wages, class-wise discrimination of the wages, and means class-wise I'm saying that means KMPs and the middle level or low level kind of the employees, and grievances in a committee, so that POSH committee, and that because in a BRSR core, that prevention of the sexual harassment committee has means related that disclosure, means how much cases you have received in a year, and how much you have resolved, and how much you have punished. So that has to be disclosed in the core principle of principle five. Principle six is the most important one, which is related to environment, and it is also most detailed. And I think most of the activity and energy for the sustainability department is going into collecting a data related to that. So this principle six is related to energy consumption, water consumption, GHG, and the means converting the ratio into purchasing power parity, different kind of the disclosure like scope one, scope two, scope three. So that disclosure has to be disclosed in the principle six. So principle seven is related to the regulatory and policy related to the BRSR report. Principle eight is related to inclusive growth and equitable development. Principle nine is related to business should engage with the provide value to their consumer in a responsible manner. So we have already a 450. So quickly I will demonstrate this benefit to the company, why the company should adopt this thing. And see, this benefit has to be percolate with your the all the employees of the companies, because this means BRSR reporting is not only the responsibility of one department, is a responsibility, sustainability is a responsibility of the all the stakeholder of the companies. So as various surveys says that there's still people don't know why the sustainability is required. So there should be a session has to be conducted for all the employees, and to make them aware that why the sustainability is important for them as a individual, also a companies, and also a whole ecosystem. So some benefit were related to the companies, improve risk management. Whole of the thing, if you are seeing a section B, it's about the related to policy and about the various engagement. So here, this is a one of the, you can say that the BRSR is a one of the document related to the risk management. So here, it is good practice to improve the risk management of thing, enterprise risk management, I can say. So it's also improve operational efficiency. If you are seeing principle six or principle two, it is asking about the the utility of the resources, optimum utilization of resources, wastage, reuse, recycle, zero waste. So that all the disclosure is, if you are making and trying to compare with the last year and this year, or trying to compare with your competitor, and you are trying to improve that, basically you're improving your operational efficiency. And if you're seeing attraction and retention of human resources, talent, so principle three, if you are seeing, is talking about the various employees. So you can see that if you are adhering to with the best practices related to employees, so then of course you are retaining the human resources. So if you are retaining it, so your attrition rate will be less, so training costs will be less, so hiring costs will be less, and also this happy employees will convert the optimum utilization of resources, and which is impacting the financial performance of the company. This access to the capital and low cost of the capital. This is one of the research which I have done during my PhD, and I found out that those who are adhering to the ESG disclosures, so for them, raising a capital as compared to those who are not good in ESG performance, for them, they are having a low cost of capital. For raising a fund, they will get at a cheap rate. Uh, Next is innovation and competitiveness. You are finding a new ways for the less reduction, less emissions and that. So definitely you are trying to, companies trying to do innovations in their processes. Enhancing reputation and brand value, especially nowadays, Gen Z generation are more keen that those companies are more ethical, transparent, and pro to the environment. They are having a high brand value. Reduce regulatory risk also. This is one activity where you are doing a whole policy. It's a audit and all the documentation. So it's also reduce various regulatory risk as well. So positive impact on a financial, but there are ample of research which is showing that those who are good in practice of the ESG, not I'm saying that just the disclosure, but the higher standard of the practices. So if you are seeing that it is positively not only impacting the ecosystem all their stakeholder, but also is impacting on their financial performance in long term. And so these are some reference for it. ESG benefit for the investor. So those who are investing in the good ESG companies, for them, as per the literature or researches has been proved that they are having a low downside risk. If you're comparing MSCI Leader Index and MSCI ESG Leader Index, you are saying during the COVID time, MSCI ESG Leader Index have a low downside risk as compared to MSCI ESG, MSCI non-ESG index. So that is the one thing, and better risk return profile alignment with the value, those who are very pro to the sustainability environment. For them, it is giving a benefit, and other three part we have already discussed. For the financiers also, for those who are the lenders, this ESG reporting provide a good insight how the companies are performing towards non-financial disclosures. And it is also one document where they can see the whole due diligence process and better risk return profile they can expect. As per one research, it says that it is having a low default risk. Those who have the superior practices of the ESG and long-term financial performance and assurance is also linked. So, and last part, the implementation process is first how to implement those who are first time adopter. So first you need to form a policies. That policy, how you can form, you simply see that your best leader, and you can see that what are the gap analysis as per the BRSR and what your existing policy, what are the missing policies are. You frame that policy with the subject matter expert, means the legal team, and then take a policy approval from the board of directors, and then you publish that policy on your portal. Then after, you need to identify what are your stakeholder mapping. Then you need to do a materiality assessment, which are the most relevant topic for you, which is directly impacting on your financial performance or your operational performance, that you need to identify the factors which are immediately impacting and more relevant. Then you need to define your key performance indicators. After this, you need to collect the data. See, data collection is here for the BRSR team. The data is mostly scattered to three different departments. HR, if you're seeing principal three, most of the data you are coming from the HR related to principal three. Other principal you are seeing compliance department having section A, section B, and section C, some related to 7, 8, 9. You are seeing a compliance department. Operations, those who are the manufacturing and service marketing team and that. So you are finding most of data aligning with them. So that data you need to collect, and then that data you need to form in the form of the uh, means untampered software. It's not a requirement, but for a long term, the technology support is also very much important here. Verification and reporting here. So then there's the second part. If you are coming under through the BRSR core and assurance, then you need to go for the assurance process. And then after that, it is a good practice that you do the impact analysis, and then after the assurance if you are eligible for that. So this is the thing about the BRSN and that. So now I would like to also discuss some more events which is planned by NISM. So one of the one of the thing is that we have this NISM Academy, NISM channel. So here you are finding various videos or recording of webinar. So this webinar recording also you can find on this portal, NISM Academy. And here, why I'm showing it, because in past we have conducted various conference related to sustainability. Those who are interested in a more insightful or more detailed discussion related to sustainability, so respective conference you can check in. So you are finding various videos and expert discussion related to that topic. Another thing is that in coming year on 13 and 14 February 2025, we are planning international research conference related to sustainability. So majority of the themes is related to ESG, climate risk, and regulatory risk, and sustainable growth, green bonds, related topics are there. Those were the academician. I will request them to submit the paper, because here we are partnered with the London School of Economics and their Department Systematic Risk Center, and along with them we are conducting this. Those who are not academician and those who want to attend this, they can also register. We will soon open the registration at the end of the October or first week of the November. So this information also you can see in our website and ISM. And so in today's webinar, I have just covered the essential part of this BRSR. But more detailed way and in detail and insightful workshop, the simulation kind of the workshop, we are going to conduct uh, online on November 7 and 8, 2024. Along with me, I have Anand S. Kulkarni. He is a technical director, KPMG, having vast experience related to BRSR. So here we are discussing in detail related to BRSR core and assurance and different calculation, because in this limited time, I have not discussed related to how to do a materiality assessment, how to do a this product life cycles assessment, different thing related to EPR, and different thing related to scope calculation, greenhouse gas accounting. So that we are discussing in this workshop on 7 and 8. And the fees is also very minimal. We have kept it's a 700 plus taxes. So that detail is also very soon will be published on our portal. So you can register for this workshop also. So that's all from my side. Hope you have enjoyed this session webinar. If you have any question, you can write in the chat box. I will try to take few.
So there are certain questions in the Q&A board.
Yeah, I'm also seeing this. So, so how to register for this workshop? So the registration link and related to this BRSR workshop will be available after 2 days, and you will find on our website. And if you are registered through the portal for this webinar, so I would like to request our marketing team to send the BRSR workshop detail to all the participants. Okay, fine. So one more question which is coming. Okay, so that's all from my side. So I'm Dr. Miraj Inamdar. If even you have any queries related to BRSR, you can write to me on miraj.inamdar@nism.ac.in, or you can connect to me on LinkedIn also. You can message me if I can. I will try to help you. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. Thank you, Amol.
Thank you, sir. This is officially closed. There are two, three questions can we take in the Q&A board?
So I'm seeing in a webinar chat, so which
Oh, no, no,
question
sir.
you
In
are,
chat board is Q&A at the bottom. Q&A section is
where is the Q&A session?
nearby chat. Shall I read it out, sir? There are two, three questions.
One question I have seen. How this BRSR help to investor, those are invest in the market. So that's why I'm saying that, see, this BRSR, if you are seeing, as per the research, those who have superior practices related to BRSR, you always find that there is a low downside risk of that companies as compared to other companies. And also, if you are seeing in recent 3 months, the BRSR, especially MSCI ESG index performance versus non-ESG index performance, you are seeing those companies which is a part of this ESG index, they are beating this non-ESG index, means they are giving a superior performance. So, but phase-wise, it is also fluctuating, but in recent 3 years, it is outperforming. Yeah, Amir, can you read out the
Yeah.
question? I'm not
So there
finding
is
it.
one question from Sparsh. How can we differentiate between ESG and CSR?
So see, ESG and CSR. So ESG is a very broad concept. I will say is a universal set, and CSR is one of the subset. So what the CSR in the Indian context, the particular amount of the percentage we need to spend on the society or social responsibility. So CSR is the way to achieve the overall sustainability to that. So and it is a subset of that CSR of the ESG.
Okay. So Mr. Abhishek Patra has asked, what processes or framework should companies adopt internally to monitor and manage ESG risk effectively?
So most of the companies, as you are saying, that the BRSR they are adopting as it is a mandatory. Some companies also, in addition to BRSR, they are also adopting GRI, and some companies they are also adopting IFRS, that kind of thing. So see, if you are comparing with the one standard with the one framework BRSR versus GRI, you are seeing here the disclosure is almost 500 variables you are disclosing, but under the GRI you are seeing that is a vast kind of the disclosure. So for example, here in BRSR is only talking about the uh, 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 gender inequality or differences between the different kind of the gender. But in GRI, you are finding lots of kind of mm, uh, the variable related to that kind of the variable, which is not necessary in the Indian context.
So continuation in that, are there any specific tools or platforms recommended for managing ESG data or BSR reporting?
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Yeah. Are there any specific tools or platforms recommended for managing ESG data or for BRSR reporting?
Tools, see, this BRSR format has been given by exchanges, and exchanges also have issued some guidelines. Those who want to do interoperability means adhering with another standard also, like NSC and BSC also have come out with the detailed guidelines. As such, the tool and software has not been provided by the regulator, but the yes format has been provided, and XBRL format has been also provided by exchanges, and schema also has been provided by the exchanges on their system. In technically bifurcating various section of the BRS.
Then, so what are the financial benefits that companies can expect from better ESG practices through BRSR?
That I have already discussed. You can see the recording.
Yeah. Then, so why does BRSR core still not address physical and transition risk specific to the Indian economy?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Why does BRSR core still not address physical and transition risk specific to the Indian economy? Mr. Karthik Sharma has asked.
Uh, Physical. So if you are seeing a BRSR core, you are finding the principle 6, which is talking about the physical risk only. So, but this physical risk is related with the companies. But if you are seeing when the all the company are disclosing in terms of the BRSR core, so you are seeing a big gamut, and you can see as a nation how it can be transitory.
So just for refreshing, Mohammed Abdul has missed some of the your slides. So he was asking, okay, which companies are obliged mandatorily to file BRSR?
So as I have told you earlier that it's a top 1,000 companies as per the market capitalization. So they are mandatory to publish the BRSR report.
Okay. Then one more question is it likely that BRSR core will undergo frequent changes due to the lack of industry-specific guidelines, absence of a formal materiality assessment process, and unclear impact metrics?
Yeah, good question. See, recently in May 2024, SEBI has come out with one discussion paper, and where they are saying that in BRSR core, the definition of the assurance, reasonable assurance, has to be changed, or they are saying that those who are coming under the value chain, so that value chain parameter has to be changed. So there is some recommendation has been given by the SEBI, but that has not been come as a circular yet. But we can expect a more explanation related to the various terms of the BRSR from the SEBI or exchanges in future.
Okay. Sir, Satyam Kumar has asked, can we describe something for sustainable finance and its evolving landscape?
Oh, so sustainable finance is also very good, growing rapidly. But as compared to the international peer, India is still at the initial phases for sustainable finance. But government is taking a proactiveness in that. RBI is also taking, means especially related to green bond, yellow bond, and various kind of the bond or blue bond. So that kind of the finance is also coming.
Okay. So Surender, Mr. Surender has asked in chat, how is different from annual report? BRSR and annual report, which one more relevant for investors?
Oh, so obviously, the annual report is related to the financial aspects of the performance of the company. But now the BRSR is also important. It is talking about the non-financial disclosures of the companies, means for achieving that financial performance, what they are using how they are using the resources. That is also important.
So
So
last
in my
question.
opinion, both are important, BRSR and annual report.
Okay. So last question. What are operational benefits such as cost reduction, improved resource efficiency can be achieved through better sustainability practices driven by BRSR?
That I have given some reference to some research report also, research papers also. If you read it, you can have a detailed insight how this operational cost can be reduced through the BRSR.
So we have covered almost all the questions asked by the
Okay.
participants.
Okay.
So I'll have to officially close the webinar today.
Thank you very much all. So how
So
much people are attending? Almost, I think.
almost one more than that.
Okay.
So thank you everyone for being a part of today's insightful session on understanding BRSR and BRSS core essentials. Special thanks to our speaker, Dr. Mohammad Miraj Inamda, for sharing their expertise and providing clear guidance on this critical subject. So your deep understanding has truly enriched us, literally. With your PPTs and elaborate form with the graphics and the statistical report you have shared, that we came to know exact what is the exact industry picture for BRSR right now. Not but last least, I just want to thank the participants for their engagement, thoughtful questions, and commitment driving sustainability. We hope this session would have they find a very well equipped with essential tools and implement the strategies in organization. Looking forward such session for the in upcoming future, sir. So thank
Thank you.
you and
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
thank you, sir. Thank you all.